Yesterday morning on AM, you heard Bob Hawke repeat his strong plea for the continuation of wage indexation. But now, only days before the emergency meeting of the Arbitration Commission to consider the subject, the powerful Australian Workers' Union is challenging the indexation guidelines. The 155,000-strong union is making its challenge in the High Court as soon as possible. The National Secretary of the AWU, Mr Frank Mitchell, is speaking by phone to Warwick Adderley.
Well, Mr Mitchell, in making this challenge before the High Court, is the AWU out to smash indexation?
Not really. We're out to ascertain as to whether or not the guidelines attached to indexation are valid.
But aren't the guidelines an essential part of indexation?
Well, I suppose that's to be said.
Well, if the guidelines are shown to be invalid, doesn't that in effect put an end to indexation?
Well, it probably would, but we're not concerned about that. If we had had introduced tax indexation soon after wage indexation, as was mooted at that time, we may not have been so disenchanted. But it's over a year now since wage indexation was introduced, and the question of tax indexation is no closer.
Why are you making the challenge in the week immediately prior to the Arbitration Commission's special meeting on the guidelines?
Well, there's no particular motive behind that. It just happens that the matter was referred to the Executive Council by the Convention in January, and the Council are meeting now. There's no particular motive behind that.
But doesn't this challenge preempt the special meeting on Monday?
Well, I wouldn't think so. If the Commission wish to sit and discuss their attitude towards indexation next week, I wouldn't think that what we're contemplating doing in the High Court would make much difference to the attitude of the Commissions next week.
What's your attitude to the prediction that there'll be industrial chaos if indexation breaks down?
Well, I believe it's true. There are very strong signs of it now.
Then what's the advantage in challenging the guidelines?
To release the union from the restrictions placed on it by the guidelines.
Do you accept Mr Hawke's warning that if indexation goes out the window, then it's every man for himself virtually in the union movement, and that the weaker unions are going to suffer from that?
Oh, no. Our proposed system of wage fixation is very similar to what we've had in this country for 70 years prior to indexation.
But doesn't that, in effect, advantage the stronger unions?
I wouldn't think so, no.
Well, certainly that's the opinion of Mr Hawke.
Well, look, I can't be concerned about Mr Hawke's opinions.
But Mr Hawke does speak for a great number of union people.
Well, that's right, he's entitled to it.
Well, do you have any regard for those members that he's speaking for?
Yes, but that doesn't necessarily say that we're influenced by Mr Hawke's opinion.
The National Secretary of the AWU, Mr Frank Mitchell.